Hello. Welcome. Dare I say it? It's good to have you. Attempt 2 of this video. I was getting a little bit rambly and frustrated on the first one. It was giving, write an angry letter then throw it away type vibes. Except I wouldn't have thrown it away. I would have uploaded it to YouTube with my name information on there. So, would have been good for my public career. I'm just kidding. I didn't say anything bad. Just not very good quality on my end. But we, of course, saw the Colts play against the Miami Dolphins. Miami. I don't know. Hard to say Miami funny. Dolphins, sort of same. Both are very generic, basic words. It's not like saying the Vikings, the Jaguars, the Cardinals. I can just say it in a Trump accent, I guess. The Miami Dolphins. That Tua, I don't know. That Tua was playing like he had head trauma again. Quite frankly, his brain looked like it was mush like mine. But let's get into what you came for, and that's actual discussion of the game, not my bad Trump impersonations. So, we of course saw the much maligned, the much critiqued, the much criticized Daniel Jones start for the Colts. I didn't like that decision at the time. I still don't like that decision. Again, I don't think AR's the guy, but I think he's more of the guy than Daniel Jones is. Anyways, we saw him start, and he played well. Like, I gotta give the guy credit. He did exactly what he was supposed to. He hit open throws. That was it. Like, there was nothing about his game that was truly impressive to me. 22 of 29 is a totally fine game. Like, that's just it. If you look at his completed passes, it would look like he was throwing just short slants, screen passes, and the occasional shot. And it wasn't even a shot. It was just like a semi-long out route that managed to get open. Like, Daniel Jones, to me, was good. Nothing impressive, nothing really to report. He hit open throws against a bad defense. I don't think it was anything that's unique to Daniel Jones. I think Anthony Richardson could have done it. I think Tyler Huntley could have done it. Hell, I think Zach Wilson could have done it. Like, that defense was terrible. You look at his completed passes. All of them are like 3-4 yards out, and all of them had some pretty good rack on them. A decent defense is going to be able to scheme up against that. So look, I may not be impressed by Daniel Jones. I'm happy we won. I'm happy we got the streak ended. The week 1 loss streak of, I think, 12 years now ended. Like, that's sick. That's sweet. I don't think this is indicative of Daniel Jones being our long-term QB. I don't think this is indicative of him being even our QB for the season. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He did exactly what any other quarterback could have done. I think Anthony Richardson could have had a comparable game. Like, he hit short throws that I could have made. Maybe that's Steichen's play calling, but it also looks like it was the Miami Dolphins just having a bad defense. I watched I watched through the game again, and I watched some breakdowns of the game. They played a lot of soft zone and a lot of soft coverage, a lot of deep coverage. Daniel Jones can't throw deep. I don't know why they were scheming so deep. So naturally, with the deep defense and Daniel Jones not being able to throw deep, they just threw it short and it worked. Like, I think Daniel Jones' longest completed pass was probably 20 yards to Alec Pierce, and even that was not a great throw. It was a decent layered throw, like it had to be semi on target, but when even Alec Pierce had to turn around for it, like he had to turn around and reach out for it. And the few times there was not just a wide open pass, it almost ended up in interceptions, or at the very least, it was just broken up passes that Daniel Jones stared down for 3 minutes before he threw. I was not impressed by Daniel Jones, right? Like, there are reasonable Colts fans out there who think this was a totally fine game. Nothing really to write home about, just like a Daniel Jones game. there was no pass rush by the Dolphins. There was bad secondary play by the Dolphins. And the Colts have good wide receivers. That equates up to a good passing game no matter who the quarterback is. For the offense as a whole, I was a little frustrated with some of the play calling. I think the play calling was correct against a team that played such soft coverage. But I guess I disagree with where some of the guys were lined up. Like, I have no issue with Tyler Warren getting screens. I have no issue with, Pierce being used as a deep guy, even if I think he can do more than that. But I don't understand why Josh Downs was not sort of in the more RPO, RPR type positions where he can get more yak than a Michael Pittman type. I think he has comparable hands to Michael Pittman. I don't think he's as good of a route runner as Michael Pittman, but I do think he can get more yards per catch from rack than Michael Pittman. In short offenses where it's just, a quick dump off to a guy, Michael Pittman, not as good. Michael Pittman's going to find holes in zones. Michael Pittman's going to be huge. He's going to get to the middle of the field, and that's valuable. But Josh Downs is going to be able to make a guy miss. He's going to be able to catch the ball almost every time. And he's going to be able to get some extra yards from you on those short type plays. Hopefully we see that change next week when, we're going to have to rely a lot more on rack because those short passes are going to be a lot more difficult. So hopefully Downs is in there a little bit more. Hopefully an Adonai Mitchell type is in there a little bit more, or Pierce is used a bit more. I don't love how much we ran the ball. I mean, Taylor had 15 carries in the first half. Would have played more, but we sat him second half just because at that point it was over. I don't love what that shows. I'm fine with Taylor getting a bunch of carries, but I'm not cool with him getting 30 in week 1. I mean, he got 20 carries and a half almost. Not great. Not great. Jonathan Taylor's great. I thought he had a really good game. I know some Colts fans criticized him, but he made a lot out of nothing. I thought our O-line was meh. They looked like they should have against a pass rush that wasn't very good. I thought a lot of the run blocking wasn't great. If you watch that game again, you'll see Jonathan Taylor had to break a lot of blocks, had to, push through some guys in order to get yards. But ideally, he could have some holes and, he's not having to just truck guys and jump over them in order to get 4 or 5 yards. What else? I thought the Colts pass rush did look pretty good. Samson Ebukam looked playable coming off that Achilles. I don't know where JT Tuimoloau is. I don't know why he didn't play. Latu, I actually don't think had a very good game, even though he got the interception. That was impressive. I thought his pass rush looked kind of bad, even if it is against a competent starting tackle. You want a little bit more from your, 15th pick. Hopefully we can see some more from him. But Buck and Grove did their thing. Pay didn't play a ton. I think Ebukam and him basically split snaps. The secondary, just sort of fine. I mean, again, I think the more impressive group was the Colts line. They were able to get a lot of pressure on Tua, admittedly a bad offensive line. But they were able to get a lot of pressure on Tua. Some of those secondary blitzes did work. We saw Nick Cross get a huge sack. Kenny Moore punch it out from Tua. But there's just not a lot to take from this for me. Anytime Tua didn't have a crazy amount of pressure or didn't have, just some unique situation in front of him where, he has Nick Cross barreling down in front of him, which is only going to work so many times, he completed passes. Anytime he wasn't having to throw it away or throwing it to another player, he completed passes, and they were good passes. I don't know if I was necessarily impressed by the secondary. I mean, you had Hill hurt, you had Waddle hurt, and both still ended up with about 50, 60 yards. Both didn't really play fourth, didn't really play the third either, because that's when both ended up getting hurt. Tua completed 11 passes, and I think they almost had 150 passing yards. Not great. I don't love that. That's not great. Our run defense still looks bad, I'll be totally honest. I know I joke about Joe Bocci being the GOAT and the king, but he was fine. I thought him and Zaire were pretty bad in coverage, honestly. If you look, there's a lot of clips of Zaire just totally missing coverages, just failing to run with a guy, I guess missing an assignment or maybe being in the wrong spot. Like a clip during the game, he has Waddle running by. My assumption, at least, is he's supposed to tag Waddle, run along with him. And again, I'm a step above a casual, but I'm far from an expert, so maybe I misread the play. But my understanding is he's supposed to tag Waddle, run with him, because he's the obvious guy. Run with him and, have a safety sort of out deep to hell because it was a blitzing play. He didn't. Waddle just sort of pushed him, ran by, got a catch. Achane had a pretty big game. What else? I mean, just not a lot to take from this Colts game. I know I'm going on 11 minutes of rambling. I apologize. I'm tired. And I'm sort of just shooting off the hip from this. Not a lot to take from this. I like Nick Cross. I thought he played well. Cam Bynum. I don't know what that interception celebration was. Who else? I thought our two signings were meh. I mean, we had the one from, funny enough, the Dolphins, who I thought played okay. I mean, wasn't really put in many difficult situations. Blackmon, I think, the former Vikings cornerback who tore his ACL not too long ago. I thought he was okay. I didn't really see much more from him than I would like a Womack, though. Like, all in all, this was just fine. They did what they were supposed to. Daniel Jones hit wide open throws, missed the throws that weren't. I am worried that against a good defensive team, or even a competent defensive team, we're just going to get railed. And I think we'll probably see that this weekend against the Broncos. Broncos have a good secondary. Broncos have a good defensive coach. Broncos can press and be okay with it. Broncos can blitz. Broncos can get pressure on Jones. Broncos can also make Jones pass and have a secondary to back that up. Again, I was not necessarily impressed or unimpressed by anybody on the team or any performance. Just sort of how I thought it would go. I don't know how much of Tua's bad play was on him, was on the Colts. I mean, obviously we have a, bird's eye view while he's looking at, at it from a 180-degree level, just right on the field. But a lot of those plays just look like Tua was like, here you go. I'm trying to remember who got the interception. Cam Bynum. I know you're standing still, so I'll give it to you. Like, I think it was just more bad quarterback play with a little bit of influence by the defense rather than vice versa. I guess we'll have to see, though. My prediction for next weekend is the Colts lose, and in pretty substantial fashion. Broncos have a good defensive line. Again, Broncos can press and take away a lot of the short game. Broncos can get pressure on Jones, or they can have him just drop back and pass and have the secondary to sort of back up that decision. But I guess we'll see. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Sorry, I know this isn't the best video. Little rambly. I'm trying my best, but I love you guys. Peace.